Ma'am, are you able to see the screen also?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Sir, I am sharing your screen
Okay,
so
thank
that I can
Thank you, ma'am. Yeah.
move the screen. You can just start sessions.
Definitely. And I welcome you all.
Sir, you can continue.
Yes. I welcome you all for this training session organized by Central University. And thank you for giving me an opportunity to interact with the learned faculty members of the university and also from people who logged in from outside the institution. And my topic is e-learning, the next big name in education. This COVID-19 has
மியூட் பண்ணுங்க மேம் எல்லாரையுமே
check பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கேன்
in front of us. Most of the things are happening online, right? Let it be the learning session for the school students or even for students in the college, and also even faculty members, teachers and professors, and not only by the educational realm, all across, no, that things are happening in online. Long back, the word e-learning was a big name. Maybe this topic of mine is the excerpts that is taken from one paper I presented in the year 2011. In March, there was an international conference conducted in a place here in Chennai. So there, myself and my wife, we have prepared this paper to present in the conference, and now I'm sharing some of the information from that conference where we have presented. And e-learning, when I mentioned the word, this was actually an old name for what right now we are doing. Now there are lots of fancy names have come to replace the name e-learning. Still, in some of the places it is in use, but right now the most popular name that is being mentioned everywhere is online classes, online courses, right? And we have got other names also for them, like digital classes, virtual classes, magic classes, and live sessions, live classes, anywhere learning, and learning on the go. So all these are the names which refer to the e-learning. Okay. It is actually the convergence of the internet and the learning, or simply the internet enabled learning. In some places, intranet is also used. The localized networks are also in use for e-learning, right? And very soon we will be having the name digital classes as a niche everywhere. Even all the other names will be replaced, because the company Reliance is planning to start the digital classes for mainly the school students, because teaching learning activity as far as the school is concerned and college is concerned is a huge activity. So they are trying to tap that activity, and very soon the name digital classes will be a very prominent term, and it will become a household name very soon. Okay. And this definitely gives a competitive edge to allow people to come ahead, right? And rapidly changing global scenario. Yet the process has not yet matured to the level of confidence seen in the conventional system of teaching and learning. And we always are very comfortable when we teach face to face rather than online. No, if we teach in person in a classroom or one to one, there are lots of other hidden characters are revealed to us, like our facial expression, body movement, kinesthetic movements, and eye contact. All these are enabling us to sense whether the students are following our talk, whether they are listening or not. Sometimes people stare at us, look at us intently, but their mind will be somewhere else. But there are some hidden characters which we could easily catch them and find out whether the students are following or not. But in online mode, these kind of characteristic features we lose. Okay. So if designed and delivered correctly, e-learning can be a good supplemental educational system doing wonders with a technological loaded learning process. And we have a long way to go as far as the e-learning is concerned. It has got lots of advantages. On the other hand, in the same way, there are lots of disadvantages involved in that also. So in this lecture, I'm going to address all of them one by one. I have got some kind of experience in online tutoring way back in 2007, 8, during those periods. No, even earlier to that, 2006, 2005, some 15 years back, I'm talking about. During that time, the BPO, business process outsourcing, was very much in the boom. Everywhere BPO industries started booming up, even from some marriage hall, no, they converted that into a BPO facility. And at that time, there was a parallel activity that was also on the boom. It was KPO, knowledge process outsourcing. We used to teach US students from India. We had a specialized, now we are using the Zoom platform, no, like that company where I worked, that had its own board. They called it as whiteboard. Okay, whiteboard pertaining to that company. And through that, we used to teach the US students online. I'm talking about way back in 2005, 2004 kind of thing. And students from US used to log in to get the homework help from the experts from India. Actually, there was a company that promoted our board over there, the help facility, and they never revealed that we are from India and helping the US students. So they disabled the voice, and also the face video part is also disabled. But through chat, we used Yahoo Chat, was also very famous during those days. And through chat and also the whiteboard, we used to interact with the kids in US and help them, especially with the homework. And slowly what happened, this industry has become a very big industry. Many companies have started coming up. We will also offer it. They charge based on the hours, how long the students are in contact with us. There are facilities to meter that timing. So based on that, they used to charge. Okay, it is time based. How even for internet we are paying, no, 1 hour when we use internet, we pay 20 rupees and kind of thing. So if we offer 15 minutes help, accordingly we are charged. The students are charged. They were even given swipe cards, preloaded cards. So the technology was improving like anything. Right now, even in our place, no, it is still not that much developed. I'm talking about some 15 years. And students used to log in from their libraries, their classroom computers and home computers, and whether they are logging in from which computer, that also we can notice. Whether it is from school computer or from home computer, there were some channels through which we will come to know when the students log in. And slowly this field has become a very big industry, and even schools started having tie-up with this company. From the schools, no, some tough portions, if they want that to be taught online, we used to log in. So we used to work in the night. And at one point of time, teachers in US started feeling that it is a threat, because when the online program is on the increase, ultimately the teachers will go jobless. No, because their role is not that much involved. So at one point of time, these people have to slow down because there was an opposition from the teacher side in the US. So slowly that they have to use the word, this online education is not complemental education, it is only a supplemental education. It can never replace teachers. And so many things were also happening. Students know when they will not that properly learn, and there was no proper mechanism to and know whether they are understanding or they are having any core difficulty, core doubt in their teaching learning process. So there were, so for that the teachers were very much needed. So through the teachers, the company used to get feedback, and accordingly custom made programs were also offered during those days. And now I'll come back to the PowerPoint. With different technological support, e-learning mostly happens in two different modes, online and offline. Right now, it is mostly happening in online because that is what is preferred by the students. There are offline sessions also, already preloaded sessions are there in the internet. So we will have to see what has been already done. Even in the companies like ours, no, where I worked, we used to store our the teaching learning activity with other students, and they called it as archives. Archives are already stored information which had happened in a live manner, and it is stored. So from the archives, the students can go back to the content and learn. So this was also happening for some time. This was also happening for some time. And there are lots of facilities. We can share the video clippings, simulations from the websites can be downloaded and shown. And all these were happening during those days. And for each customized program, the charges were also made accordingly. So both the types of online and offline teaching have their advantages and disadvantages. So the learners as well as the instructors need a specialized skill for using the online and also offline modes of learning. The quality sessions which are archived, because when you go for archiving a program, the quality of the program has to be checked. Even in our sessions, no, sometimes the students used to make some mistakes on the board because it's an interactive board. When the teacher teaches, there used to be some sort of mistakes committed by the students. So those blunders will also be there in the sessions. So there was a team appointed. So their team is go to the archives and make necessary corrections and keep the content ready for fresh view by the students who have already attended or the students who are going to see it again, or those who missed the sessions, they can also see. So there was a team, that team itself is called correction team. So they used to work in the morning. So the company was working round the clock, night online, and morning the correction team will come and prepare the nice archives. The unwanted things will be eliminated from the chat and also from the whiteboard. They will keep the content ready for view for the freshers and also people who have already seen it. So all these were used to happen in the online sessions, e-learning process. And what about the choice of e-courses? As I said, right from the content teaching, even knowledge, skills, and attitudes. So when you say the capability of a person, the capability of a person depends on his knowledge, his skills, and his attitude, right? So online teaching or e-learning can definitely address to these three characteristics or attributes of the capabilities. If a person is having very good knowledge, right? Yeah, his knowledge is excellent. And what is the use of it if it is not productive? Okay, so he needs the skills. If he is a technician, the knowledge has to be applied. And if he is a teacher, the knowledge has to be imparted to others. So here lies the skills. So the skills are also to be learned, and also attitude. Attitude training is also happening in online. E-learning has lots of attitudinal development programs, skill development programs, and knowledge development programs. So e-learning will be successful if you identify what is to be taught, whether it is a knowledge-based training or skills-based training or the attitude-based training. So, and for whom it is to be imparted. If we are able to identify for whom it is to be delivered and what is to be delivered, if these two questions are correctly addressed, dear beloved faculty members, we can do wonders in online teaching or e-learning. What is to be taught, as I said, in a generic way, knowledge, skills, attitude. And you can go for minor details also. So what is to be taught, for whom it is to be taught. If these two are correctly identified and mixed, then we can do wonders as far as these e-courses are concerned, e-training is concerned. And choices of e-courses, as I said, degree, diploma, certificates, even coaching can be done, especially for coaching industry. Nowadays, all the exams, no competitive exams are happening in online mode only. They have to just work it out and click the correct answer. My God, in online training, all these are possible. In online mode only, these kind of mock sessions can be given. So all these mock sessions will enable the students to get hands-on training. So most of the coaching industries in our country, now they have their online portals ready. And some of the companies, no, I don't want to name them, they have directly come in the online mode only. They never opened up any coaching center for them. The infrastructural facilities they didn't have. They directly started the online mode of training the students for competitive exams, and they are quite successful. Most of the other companies, no, they used to, those who maintained very good infrastructural facilities and skill-based teaching fleet of faculty members and a lot of study materials, the print materials, all has become obsolete. All have become obsolete. With this online mode of training, one teacher could reach millions. Thousands and thousands of students were able to watch what that one skillful teacher teaches. Okay, and the material, online materials are available. So through iPad and also their laptop, mobile, the students could access. So the print, no, has become a waste. Infrastructural facilities have become waste. So like that. So there is these courses have revolutionized the e-learning process. And we who are working or attached to educational institutions, we are also going to face the burnt in the coming days. Some of the universities, they have already provided or made these course materials ready. In one of the institutions where I worked earlier, they used to supply the books for the students. Most of the books were authored by the local professors, the same people. And they would have authored some quality books. Okay. So while preparing the book itself, they have converted everything into PowerPoint presentations. PowerPoint presentations, because they are the people who have the digital content with them. No, so they prepared the PowerPoint presentations unit wise. So the students are supplied the book and the PowerPoint is ready with us. So we need not carry even chalk duster in our hand. All we need to carry is a laptop, and even that was also at one point of time provided in the classroom itself. Just take the content from the server and show it to them, explain from the smart board itself. Because what is there in the textbook is there in the net and it is available. So that has actually reduced the burden on the teachers. The teachers were able to use their own prepared material in the classroom directly. So that kind of facilities we need to provide if we are not prepared for it. Okay, even now also I am handling the online classes through Skype for some of the school students. I'm clarifying their doubts. They log in for getting help. My God, I just download the textbook from the net, whether it is a state board or NCERT. I just download and share the material with them. And of course, in a whiteboard, like even the paint and also the PowerPoint, I could make some interesting content which is copy pasted from the textbook itself or my own, where the additional steps are needed. So through this, we are able to teach comfortably to the students. And because we have got the experience, what are all the doubts the students are going to have? Because we have the experience of handling the classes face to face. No, so we definitely know these are the areas the students definitely require help. So you pose questions in such a way, they come out with answers in the chat or through the mic, through the speaker mic system itself. We can interact and find out whether the students are answering correctly. Through their answers, we can diagnose whether they are following or not. So all these are possible. Only thing is we should be very strong in content. We should not have a inferior content with us or inferior knowledge in any subject. When we are going to teach the subject online, my God, we should have the supreme understanding of the subject. So only then we will be able to master over the skills of online delivery of the content. Okay, different kinds of the system. And then what is the pedagogy? Pedagogy versus technology. Pedagogy is the way in which the subject is taught. For a nursery student, if you teach, no, you have to be so much interactive. You have to keep on asking questions and get the answer from the students. In one of the colleges where I worked earlier, there was an adjacent school. It was a nursery school. My God, we cannot handle the class when the nursery students are learning the spelling. The teacher, no, I learned it from the school teacher which was running the school which was running in the adjacent campus. The spelling for apple, A-P-P-L-E. The teacher used to make the students yell at their highest voice. She used to touch the board at the letter A, P, P, L, E. The students used to shout at their highest voice, and thus they learn. So this is the way of making the school students learn. Every second she used to ask a question from the students. Students used to shout the answer. They will not keep quiet. So the energy is to be spent in teaching for students at kindergarten level. And you consider our teaching, no, simultaneously. We used to take class very quiet. Only the teacher's voice will be heard in the class. The students will not be opening their mouth. They will only be patiently listening. Okay. So our mode of training is different at college level. And the middle school you take, it should be both, the combination of both. We should make the students answer. Of course, we have to keep delivering the content to them. And occasionally we have to interact. We should not be totally interacting with them, because the amount of subject that we need to teach at middle school level will be greater than that of the kindergarten level. So we need to adapt a particular pedagogy, and we should check whether we have the technology for that or not. Okay. And let me give one example. In one of the schools, the primary schools in Tamil Nadu, they started initially, now it's a common thing. They use tab, no, for training the first standard, second standard students, and even for the KG students. The government school itself is using tab. So in the tab, the content is already loaded. There are lots of interactive programs. You touch a particular link or in the interactive animation, it responds. It is an interactive animation. So in one case, the parent is complaining to the headmaster, sir, my son is studying in first standard here in your school, government school. I am not able to take my son to marriage of my relative. It's happening next week. We are planning to leave, but my son refuses to come along with us. He wants to come to school. Why? Because in the school, they are using a tab. So that much the students are getting interested, engrossed, when there are some interactive materials provided to them. And this was the complaint. Actually, it's a real thing happened. So the 2 days before the marriage, the boy was ready to go with the mother. And that too with one promise from the teacher. After you come back, I will give the tab for a longer time for you to meddle with. Because such a interesting content is there in the tab for the students. So pedagogy is very important, and we should check whether the technology is available to impart the pedagogy to the students. So e-learning courses are likely to fail if they are delivered as if they were done in a traditional course. Traditional course, the mode of delivery is different. But in e-learning, the delivery should be something interesting, because they are going to sit in front of the gadget for longer duration, and the attention span, no, and that too the environment where they are sitting, the surrounding will be having lots of other tempting things for them. A TV program might go on in the next room, or mother would be cooking a very tasty recipe in the kitchen. So all these are some sort of temptations for the students who are trying to learn from a particular room in their house. So if it is not properly delivered, then definitely the e-learning process will not be successful. So we need to identify two things. What is the pedagogy that I need to apply for this group of students? And does my technology have this facility to follow the pedagogy? So we need to concentrate on this. Some of the skill-based training programs where you need to impart the training, no, it should be done in a video mode. Video should be very much used. I would like to just show you, even in our science teaching, especially in universities, colleges, when we teach science, there are lots of science videos we could download and show. And we can show live videos also. And as far as the practicals are concerned, even the UGC is now insisting, no, whether they know the difficulty in conducting the practical exams. I'm not telling the practical regular training, practical sessions. The UGC is insisting conduct the practical exams online as far as possible. My God, where are the equipments for the students to meddle with? So though the order is coming from higher authorities to go online for conducting practical exams, even practical sessions can be done with the help of the e-learning technology. I'll tell you, some of the sessions in practicals, no, in our college, how it is happening, 4 or 5 teachers will always be going around. If the strength is going to be 60, definitely 3 professors or 2, at least 2 professors will be going around to conduct the practical session. So each one will concentrate on one group of students and try to identify the mistakes that they have made, debugging the circuit and all that will happen. So if you are able to take a video of a particular program or a practical itself with your own equipment, and you give it to the students as a e-content prior to coming to the practical session, so they would have watched the practical video and they would do wonders. So I would like to just share one part, one second. I will try to show one video where one practical has been taught. Just wait for a second. I'll try to run that video. Maybe a 1 minute or 2 minute video I would like to run for you. So this can be even tried at this was actually prepared by the, are able to hear the sound? I doubt you are able to hear the sound also. I was involved in this kind of teaching a practical session for college students, the spectrometer, right? So some sort of theory for them, a little bit of theory about the spectrometer and the grating and all that, and the apparatus. And look at this, no? A practical way of showing how the instrument works. Even close shots can be taken, how the adjustments of the collimator that can be done. It runs for 15 to 20 minutes for one experiment. I have given the demonstration and it was videographed by experts. And the adjustments of the instruments, no, how nicely we can show it. So especially science teachers, I encourage you, take some of the videos of the experiments that we conduct, whether it is electronic experiment or the typical apparatus handling. And once you show, you can give some sort of theory also based on that. You can complement with the theory part also. Theory as well as the practical you can club together. And how the prism, it's actually one critical case as far as the minimum deviation is concerned. How to keep the prism for getting minimum deviation. Science, professors, faculty members, or those who are from the science background, we would easily appreciate. So that can be easily taught with this kind of demonstrations given. You need not download somebody else's video because with the mobile camera that is available with high resolution and all, no, the quality can be improved. And you can show what we are actually seeing by using the thing. See how minutely we are able to explain. And all the adjustments. And this is how the spectrum appearing. And taking the reading. See, this is how the entry has to be made in the tabulation. It hardly takes 15 to 20 minutes to faculty members, you believe me or not. So we can do wonders. So skill-based training, actually this online, the e-learning, you know, is actually a boon. We can take videographs. As I said, it is a supplemental program. We can supplement to what we are actually giving face to face. So all these are possible in e-learning. And I would like to give another practical example. A friend of mine teaches in a school for 12th standard. The class strength is around 55-60 number. 2 teachers used to take care of them, especially in practical sessions. That too in electronics, no, the op-amp experiment was there in the earlier syllabus. The students used to struggle a lot. They used to give connection to another pin and all that. And this was discussed when I was giving this kind of lectures, online lectures. And he is doing research under me. He has registered for PhD under me. And I gave him one solution. Why not you try with this kind of supplemental tools? You take at least photographs. This is how the correct connection has to be given. With your own op-amp kit. Don't take anything from the net. Don't download an unseen device. Your own device, you just take some still photographs of the apparatus. And when the students are in the lab, try to project that. You make all the 60 students do the same experiment if you have sufficient number of kits, op-amp kits. And just show the photographs to them. Not even video is required. This is how the connections are to be made. 6th pin is the output. 2nd pin is the inverting terminal. 3rd pin is non-inverting terminal, where the VCC is to be given. All that you just show the photograph of it and make the students give connection. And then make them give the input, especially the diode. Using that, they used to devise a gate, or they will use NAND gate, NOR gate and all, no, the gate ICs. So you make them get the result like this. So result photograph. So with just 10 photographs for each experiment, my God, the session was, their one practical session was for a time of 3 periods. And with this enabled learning, photographs and videos, and how to enter the reading. And within 2 periods, 2 hours, that is 2 periods, the students were able to complete one experiment. One period lasts for 45 minutes in school, right? So within 2 45 sessions, 45-minute session, they were able to complete the practical on the day itself and get the attestation, signature, and leave the lab happily. What enabled them? The e-learning. It's a part, ICT I would like to call. The ICT enabled learning. Just photographs of your own apparatus, the connections. You need not go to them because of this facility. You are just showing that on the screen, and the students are following it. So with the LCD projector, they are very easily and happily, accurately doing the experiments. So even in our institutions also, for all the experiments, we can take photographs or we can take videos of the critical maneuvers that are required for the apparatus and give it to the students. Before coming to the lab, make the students go through those videos and photographs and even the worksheets. They will quickly and easily, accurately, happily will be able to do the experiments, and we are practicing it, and it is actually strain free. The students are also happily learning. So I encourage you faculty members to adapt these techniques in the coming academic years. Okay, so instructional design and content development, and as I said, no, pedagogy versus technology. For the instructional design and content development, we need to work a lot because this is the base. Whether videos are needed for any course, when we are teaching the smart materials, there are some materials which are smart materials, no, that shape memory alloy, or the materials which are used for dentistry. It is better to show videos how the dental replacement is done, what sort of materials are used. So we need to use the e-learning techniques for making the students follow everything. So the content development has to be done in that way. Okay, so, and there are lots of interesting things used to happen when I was working for online. And when we teach the students across the country, their culture also we should know, their cultural impacts and their terms, the educational institution terms, terminologies, the usage of language, all that we should be very familiar with. Then only the e-learning delivery can be done effectively. And also during those days, I should definitely mention, because quality has to be maintained as far as the e-learning process is concerned. When a fresher is handling the board from here, in my company where I work, when a fresher handles the board for the first time, we will not allow the fresher to handle it alone. There will be an expert sitting next to the fresh faculty member, or the person who is teaching, the tutor. And a learned or an experienced person will be sitting next to him or next to her and train how to teach, train the tutor how to teach, how to interact. All these will be done from our side. And this will also be monitored by some mentors. They had one team called mentors. These mentors used to get access. Even right now, I'm presenting my case. There are other people, those who are not directly getting the training or not directly involved. The technical team is there. They are talking to me, sir, what happened at your end? Your voice is not audible. Your video quality is not good. Can you adjust? So this kind of facilitators. So those kind of mentors, but they are mentors as far as the education is concerned. So they are knowledgeable people and they are not technical people. Technical team will also be there to support any problem with the system, any problem with the net connection. Technical team used to be there. These mentors, they are knowledgeable people. They will see whether we are teaching correctly or not. They get access to the board that we are using. And if any blunder that the tutor is making, they will correct. There is another chat box available, mentors comments, mentors chat. So the mentor used to give instructions. See, this is not like a mentor can simultaneously watch up to 10 boards. So for 10 boards that are happening live, the mentors used to monitor and give instructions. In one such case, no, young recruiter, started handling the board. And what happened was, when the student is asked, giving a correct answer, we are supposed to put a smiley in the chat, in the board itself. We can copy paste one smiley. That means encouraging the students. So for every such correct answer the student gives, the tutor has to copy paste one smiley and put a tick mark. Tick mark means correct. That is the meaning. And in US terminology, it is not called tick mark. It is called check. Check means put a tick mark. And the mentor is telling this fresh recruit, check the equation, check the answer, check the answer. Check the answer means she is expecting the tutor to put a tick mark to encourage the student. And this tutor was thinking, oh, any mistake? Check is the word she was using. He used the word tick or correct, but they used to say check. Check means put a tick mark, correct. So check the answer means put a tick mark. But she was telling, I am checking the answer, it is correct. I am checking the answer, it is correct. And then from US, they called directly called the company, and then gave the connection to the particular tutor. See, check means you have to put a tick mark. And immediately, with the help of the telephone call, no, they were able to instruct the tutor accordingly. And another interesting case, the states of matter was taught to one US student. States of matter. Matter exists in 3 states: solid state, liquid state, and gaseous state. And the tutor had taken the example of water. Water, when it is in the form of ice, it is a solid state. When it is water, liquid state. And then when it is boiled and it becomes a gaseous state, steam is a gaseous state. And all these were taught to the student, and maybe 5, 10, 15 or 20 minutes the session went on. The student was so happy, and she said, yeah, I understood everything. Then the tutor asked, to test your understanding, let me ask a question. Ice is in which state? The tutor asked, ice is in which state? The expected answer was solid state. Ice is in solid state. But the answer from the US kid came as, ice is in Alaska. Because Alaska is one state where they used to have lot of snow and it used to form ice. So the states of matter finally ended up the other way. So the testing mechanism, checking mechanism, as far as the online mode, is very, very important. Okay. And lots of interaction. Just for a fun part, I just shared with you. Otherwise, there are lots of limitations also. The time is also very close to us. In another few minutes, I'll be winding up the session. And capabilities and limitations. As I said in the beginning, lots of capabilities as far as e-learning is concerned. The delivery can be made effective. The videos and other tools that we are going to use, no, they will definitely complement our teaching learning activity. But on the other hand, there are lots of limitations too. Nowadays, no, a friend of mine is living in Madurai. His son is in 10th standard. And 10th standard students are not given any summer vacation, right? That is the unsaid rule, no, nowadays in schools. And even in colleges, we don't normally face this. In school, our kids are going to schools. Many of our kids are going to school. And 10th standard, I used to call him in the morning. And his phone, he never picks up the phone in the morning. Then I asked him one day in the evening, why, what happened in daytime? Your phone is always engaged. I'm not getting the connection. And he said, my son is in 10th standard. From his school, they are conducting online classes. Morning 9 o'clock, it starts. And they give interval, 15 minutes break. It is all through mobile. Look at the way the things are happening, no? Or they connect it to the TV, smart TV. Some of the students, they connect it to the smart TV. They sit in front of the TV. And many a times, the students are not able to cope up with the pressure, cope up with the online programs. Because the attention span, my God, is very limited. Half an hour, 45 minutes, that itself is too long for them. And they give lunch break time, and then next teacher handles every 45 minutes, one. It is typically the class, the school timing is followed for 10 students. 9 o'clock to 4 o'clock, they are made to attend these online classes. And he also said, sometimes no, he makes the system on and he goes for playing cricket with his students at the backyard, with his friends at the backyard. So these are also likely to happen. The school will be assuming the students are attending the classes, but it is on and they play outside. Sometimes no, even my friend also used to take him for a stroll. Don't strain yourself, my son. Just relax. Let the system be on. So these are also happening. There are lots of limitations. See, how long I can go, ma'am? Mentors, can you just guide me? Now it is, I think it is 11 o'clock now.
Sir, because we are having a session at 11:30. Before 11:15,
Yeah, in another 2
wind up.
minutes, shall I
One
wind
or
up?
two questions maybe you can answer. Therefore, you can in 2
Yeah,
minutes.
yeah. Right now I am ready to take the questions. Anyone who has a question, please ask me. I go almost to the end. These are the self-pacing, instructional staffing, as scheduling can be done. On demand, we can give the lectures. Inventory can be made. All these, no, these are all advantages. On the other hand, we have these disadvantages also. The level of interactivity is very limited as far as online sessions are concerned, and also bandwidth requirement. I'm not telling initial cost of investment is also there, the software maintenance and all that. So these are some of the limitations we have. And of course, social isolation is there. In colleges and schools, students come in and sit community and learn, interact among themselves. That itself, so social isolation is one limitation. Quality standard. Who is actually teaching? That also matters. So quality teachers are required for online, and copyright and piracy. So these are some of the limitations. Some of the limitations. There are lots of other limitations too, but these are some of the limitations we have. And yeah, in conclusion, this is the conclusion. You can read yourself. And this point also I can share with you. I have already given this PowerPoint to Stella Madam and some management studies of from there. And now I am focused. Yeah, I will come out from the PowerPoint. Shall I stop sharing the?
Yes, sir. You can stop the screen, sir.
Okay, ma'am.
So that you are
In another 1 or 2 minutes, I can wind up. Thank you for watching this program. First of all, I should thank all of you. You were all so patient enough to attend to my lecture on e-learning, the next big name in education. Definitely, this lecture of mine would have thrown some sort of light on our skills, the skills needed for us to improve upon the online programs. Like especially the video of a practical session will save time like anything. Please try this in your regular teaching sessions of practicals. Your own videos you can take and show it to the student, and it becomes one-time event. That's it. After that, you can sit and relax in the practical classes. You need not go around. Only for debugging or for troubleshooting you may have to go. And computer people also, the programs and all that, how it will give the result. All these you can execute and show it prior to the students through the ICT tools. They will enjoy. Any doubt, any specific doubt, anyone else?
Brinda ma'am, you read out some questions, very few, some 1 or 2 questions from the audience. Brinda ma'am. You can ask one or two questions, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Sir, have you heard my voice, sir?
Yes, ma'am. The voice is slightly breaking, but you try to ask the question, ma'am. I will make out.
Sir, I posted in your chat box also once again, but I think I have to ask, sir. First one question, sir. How long it is going to launch the Reliance Geo Educational Platform?
How long? Can you repeat,
How
ma'am?
long?
How long?
Yes. How long it is going to launch the Reliance Geo Educational Platform?
Yeah, how long it is going to last? That is your question, right? Yes,
Yes,
ma'am. Actually, I would say it was there. The online or e-learning was there already, existing for specific purposes. People were using it, and this COVID, the lockdown period, has utilized it to the maximum. Okay, so definitely once the lockdown is relaxed, if there is no lockdown, the students are actually preferring to come to the regular mode of learning only. And this online mode will also be existing because they have tasted it now. Teachers also have tasted, we also have tasted. So this will exist as a supplemental program. There are lots of advantages, madam. Travel is not there. All the basic things I have not touched upon. We need not travel too long. May God, from Avadi to ECR, people are traveling from ECR. They come to Avadi St. Peter's institution to attend. So all this travel can be avoided if everything goes online. But students will prefer to travel and come because socialization they like. And maybe for doubt clarification, some special cases of training. For that, they will still use the online mode of like assignment submission and all that. No, they will use online. So this will definitely exist. Maybe some 20-30% will be existing, will be done in online only, even after the lockdown period.
Sir, another question.
Yes, ma'am.
Is any government schemes available for e-learning implementation in rural
It is going
institutions?
to come, ma'am. As I said, there are very big companies. Actually, in one way, we are encouraging the corporates to get into the educational arena. The corporates are sensing our pulse. They are sensing our pulse, whether the students like the e-learning method, online classes, whether the teachers are comfortable. So at one point of time, these corporates will step into the educational system. Now itself, many of the schools have tie-up with the online programs. Let me tell you, especially army schools, some of the army schools have got a tie-up with one company which is giving the online sessions to the students. Even long back, 10 years back itself, it was in practice. Every day, 3 hours of training will be given by this company. And the remaining time, this school student teachers used to teach. And now the ratio will increase. Therefore, the percentage of online sessions will increase only. Because now everyone is equipped.
Sir, could you find any disadvantage of this particular teaching and learning methodology?
Yes, sir. Definitely, there are lots of disadvantages. As I have said, the face-to-face, no, everyone cannot afford to this kind of online teaching. It will actually make a wide divide in the society. The privileged group will definitely enjoy the online sessions. The underprivileged, deprived group
Probably the government may be able to.
but maybe the government, when it implements some sort of schemes, no, the laptop they provide nowadays, it is on the track. The gap will also be brought closer in the long run, but initially there will be a wide division, and then with the provision from the government and also the affordability, when it becomes lesser, then people will be able to make up with that. Even in US also, there was a scheme called No Child Left Behind scheme.
Okay, sir. Even if the technology is available, the teachers has to be properly trained, right?
Yes, sir. Very much of training is needed. And also, sir, teachers are to be trained. As I said, if there are few skillful teachers, with that the whole show can be run.
Yeah.
The companies which has got very good skillful teachers, they will be able to run the show with very few skillful teachers.
Okay, sir. I'm from Trivandrum. Actually, what I found is that I'm also teaching computer science.
Yes, sir.
Even
Yes, sir.
computer science teachers are not.
That extent, sir. Please tell me, sir.
Thank you, sir. Sir, even the computer science teachers are not able to make all these kind of tools or incorporating everything in their teaching learning process itself. I find it
Yes, sir.
difficult.
Actually, the
Government
skills
has
are
to take
being picked
initiative
up.
to
The
make this
teachers
training.
are now aware. The teachers are now aware that they have to develop these skills. They are in the learning process. Some of them are very comfortably teaching, handling the classes, but now people are aware. Once the awareness comes, definitely the learning will also start.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, sir. Welcome, sir.
Nice.
Sir, even one or two questions are there as the time is nearing. I request Stella ma'am to propose a vote of thanks.
Yes, please.
Stella ma'am.
Yeah, ma'am. Yeah, on behalf of the management, the Vice Chancellor, Registrar, the organizers, and on my own behalf, I would like to thank the speaker, Dr. R. Sugraj Samuel, for his valuable and informative presentation on e-learning, the recent big name in education. Sir, thanks, sir, for your valuable inputs, which most of us were unaware of the understanding of what is really the e-learning means. And I'm sure that all the participants will take up this e-learning far more steps ahead with your inputs. And I also would like to thank the management, the Vice Chancellor, and the Registrar for enabling us to conduct this FDP. And I thank our beloved Dr. Venkatraman sir, our Dean, Arts, Science and Management Studies, who is our pillar of support, who always encourages us to do such webinar session. I also thank Dr. R. Rani Hemamalini, the coordinator of IQAC, for supporting in all our endeavors. I also would like to show my gratitude to Dr. R. Lata and Ms. Brinda for arranging and giving all the technical support. And I thank all the participants for joining this webinar session. I am sure that all would be benefited out of this e-learning session. Thanks once again, sir.
So thank you, Vanakkam, for making this program a successful one. On behalf of my college, my institution, the new college, I would like to thank St. Peter's University for making use of my expertise in the field of e-learning methods. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.